I never thought words could break someone so completely. Like, I know words hurt and all that, but I didn't think they could make someone pack up their entire life and disappear. I'm Brittany, 29, and I guess I should start from the beginning before everyone jumps down my throat about what happened with my husband Tanner. Here's the thing, I married young, like way too young looking back. I was 24, fresh out of college, and Tanner was this super stable 27-year-old with a good job and his own place. After watching all my friends waste time with losers who couldn't commit, Tanner seemed perfect. He had everything figured out, you know? The first few years were great, honestly. Tanner worked hard at his engineering job. We bought a cute house in the suburbs, and everything looked perfect on paper. But lately, it's like living with a robot. He comes home, sits in his home office doing important work stuff, and barely acknowledges me unless I'm literally standing in front of him waving my arms. Last month, I got this amazing opportunity at work. They wanted to promote me to senior account manager. It would mean more money, more responsibility, everything I've been working toward. When I told Tanner over dinner, you know what he said? "That's nice, honey. That's it." Didn't even look up from his phone. Meanwhile, I'm over here bursting with excitement, wanting to celebrate, and he can't even give me 5 minutes of real attention. It's been like this for months now. Every time I try to talk to him about anything, work, our future, maybe starting a family soon, he just shuts down. "We'll talk about it later," or "I'm tired, Brit." I'm not asking for grand gestures or anything, just be present. Actually, listen when I'm talking. The breaking point came last week. I'd planned this whole date night, made reservations at this trendy new place downtown, got all dressed up, the works. Tanner texted an hour before saying he had to work late. Again. I was sitting there in my new dress, makeup done, feeling like a complete idiot. When he finally came home around 10, I lost it. All the frustration, all the lonely nights, everything just came pouring out. He just stood there, quiet. That same checked-out expression he always has. That's when I said it. The words just came out before I could stop them. "You're just like your deadbeat father. Useless." I knew about his dad leaving when he was little. We'd talked about it early in our relationship, how it affected him growing up. But in that moment, I was just so angry, so hurt. I wanted him to feel something. Anything. He didn't yell back, didn't defend himself. Just looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before, turned around, and walked into his office. I figured he needed space to cool off, so I went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, his car was gone. I thought he just went to work early or needed some time alone, but it's been 5 days and I haven't heard a word from him. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His sister won't tell me anything except that he's safe. Like, what does that even mean? I've tried calling, texting, even emailed him at work. Nothing. Radio silence. How am I supposed to fix this if he won't even talk to me? I know what I said was awful, but everyone says things they don't mean when they're angry, right? He can't just throw away 5 years of marriage over one stupid fight. The worst part is, our anniversary is coming up next week. I had this whole weekend getaway planned. My way of trying to reconnect. Now I'm sitting here alone in our too quiet house, wondering if he's coming back at all. It's been 2 weeks now. 2 weeks of complete silence, and I just found out why. I was going through our shared email account, the one we use for bills and stuff, when I saw it. An email from Tanner's boss to the whole company announcing his resignation, effective immediately. He's not coming back. Not to work, not to me, not to any of it. I called his boss in a panic, and she actually took pity on me. Told me Tanner had been working on this huge project for months, staying late because he was trying to finish it before. Get this. Before surprising me with a 2-week vacation for our anniversary. He'd been putting in extra hours so we could actually disconnect and focus on us. Meanwhile, I was sitting at home thinking he was ignoring me. That's not even the worst part. His sister Mackenzie finally cracked and told me everything. Apparently, the night of our fight, Tanner had the restaurant reservation moved to later specifically because he knew I got that promotion. He wanted to make it special. He had flowers delivered to his office and everything. But then his team hit a major problem with the project, and he had to stay to fix it or risk delaying our vacation. When I threw his father in his face that night, it wasn't just another fight for him. See, his dad didn't just leave. He left on Tanner's 12th birthday. Told him they were going out for dinner, just the two of them. Tanner waited all dressed up for hours, but his dad never showed, never came back at all. And here I was, accusing him of being exactly like the man who broke him. The more I learn, the worse I feel. Mackenzie said Tanner's been in therapy for years dealing with abandonment issues. He never told me because he didn't want me to see him as damaged. All those times I thought he was being distant, he was actually working through stuff, trying to be better, to not repeat his father's mistakes. I tried going to his office to get his work friends to help me reach him. You know what I found out? He'd been skipping lunch for months, eating at his desk while watching YouTube videos about romantic vacation spots, planning everything down to the last detail. God, I feel like such an idiot. His best friend Ryan finally took pity on me and told me Tanner's staying with him. But he also told me to back off. Said Tanner's not in a good place right now, and my showing up would only make things worse. Like, how am I supposed to just sit here and do nothing while my marriage falls apart? I keep replaying that night in my head. If I just waited 10 minutes, let him explain. If I hadn't been so wrapped up in my own feelings. If I hadn't said those words. The thing is, I didn't even mean it. Tanner's nothing like his dad. He's thoughtful, responsible, always trying to take care of everyone else. I just wanted to hurt him because I was hurting. The house feels huge now. I keep finding little things that make everything worse. Sticky notes on his desk with vacation ideas, a gift receipt from some jewelry store crumpled in his office trash. He was trying so hard, and I was too self-absorbed to see it. Last night, I got desperate and drove by Ryan's place. Tanner's car was there, and I could see him through the window. He was just sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. I've never seen him look so empty. I wanted to run in, explain everything, beg him to come home. But I just sat there in my car crying like an idiot because I finally realized I did exactly what his father did. I took his trust and shattered it. I got served with divorce papers today. 3 weeks of silence, and this is how he tells me it's over. The papers were just sitting there on the kitchen counter when I got home from work. He must have come by while I was out. Reading through them was surreal. Irreconcilable differences. Like that explains anything. Like that covers what happened between us. His lawyer included a note about arranging for him to pick up his things. They want to do it while I'm at work, so we don't have to see each other. Tanner doesn't even want to be in the same room as me anymore. I broke down and called my mom, told her everything. You know what she said? Brittany, honey, when was the last time you asked Tanner how he was doing? Really asked? I started to defend myself, but then I actually thought about it. I couldn't remember. I've spent weeks talking about my promotion, my feelings, my needs. But Tanner? He's been quietly carrying all this weight, and I never even noticed. The worst part? I found his anniversary gift. He'd hidden it in his desk drawer. Plane tickets to Hawaii, resort reservations, everything. There was this little notebook too, filled with plans. He'd mapped out every day. Sunrise hike on the beach, couples massage, private dinner under the stars. He even wrote down conversation starters, things he wanted to talk about. Ask Britt about her dreams. Talk about starting a family. Tell her about therapy progress. My friend Ashley tried to comfort me, said all couples go through rough patches, but this isn't a rough patch. I took the one person who's never let me down and convinced him he was just like the one person who did. How do you come back from that? I tried writing him a letter, spent hours on it, explaining everything I've realized, how sorry I am. Drove to Ryan's to deliver it. Ryan took one look at me and said, he's not here anymore. Turns out Tanner got a job offer in Seattle. He's already gone. The thing that kills me? Everyone keeps telling me what an amazing husband I had. His coworkers, our neighbors, even my own family. They tell me stories about things he did, little ways he looked out for me that I never noticed. Like how he always made sure to fill up my car with gas when it was getting low, or how he kept a calendar reminder for when my favorite authors released new books. I found his therapy journal when I was cleaning out his office. I know I shouldn't have read it, but I couldn't help myself. The last entry was from the night of our fight. He wrote about feeling like a failure, wondering if he was destined to hurt people like his dad did. But he wasn't the one hurting people. I was. Today would have been our first day in Hawaii. Instead, I'm sitting in our empty house, looking at pictures of us from when we first got married. We looked so happy, so sure about our future. Now all I can think about is how I took that bright-eyed guy who trusted me with his heart and made him relive his worst nightmare. Ryan texted me earlier. Said, Tanner's doing better, starting fresh. Said maybe it's better this way, that some things you just can't fix. I wanted to argue, to say that love should be enough to fix anything. But maybe that's the problem. I've been acting like love is just about feelings, when it's really about actions. And my actions? They showed Tanner that his biggest fear was right. The people you love most can hurt you the worst. The divorce was finalized yesterday, 6 months, and it's just over. Tanner didn't even come to the courthouse. His lawyer handled everything. The last piece of paper I'll ever sign with his name on it, and he couldn't even be there. I started therapy last month. Not to try to get him back, I know that ship has sailed. But because I finally realized I need to understand why I did what I did. My therapist, Dr. Chen, asked me a question that kept me up all night. Why did you feel entitled to use his deepest trauma against him? I didn't have an answer. Still don't, really. But I'm starting to see patterns. How I always made everything about me. How I called it communication when really I was just talking at him, not with him. How I blamed him for not meeting my needs while ignoring his completely. His sister Mackenzie reached out last week, said Tanner's doing well in Seattle. He bought a house, got promoted at his new job. She sent a picture. He's smiling again. That smile I used to wake up to every morning, only now it's in a life I'm not part of. The worst part? He sent back all our wedding photos. Not in anger or spite, they were carefully packed, each one wrapped in bubble wrap. There was a note. I think you should have these. Thank you for the good memories. That's Tanner. Thoughtful even in goodbye, even after what I did. I ran into his mom at the grocery store. I tried to apologize, to explain. She just looked at me and said, you know, when Tanner was little, after his father left, he used to set an extra place at dinner every night, just in case his dad came back. It took him years to stop. Years to trust that someone could love him and stay. Then she just walked away, leaving me standing there between the frozen pizzas and ice cream. Dr. Chen says I need to forgive myself eventually. But how do you forgive yourself for becoming someone's worst fear? For taking a person who trusted you with their deepest wound and poking it just because you were having a bad day? The house sold last week. Tanner let me keep the money. Said he didn't want anything that reminded him of us. I'm moving into a small apartment closer to work. Starting fresh, I guess. But everywhere I go there are reminders. The coffee shop where we had our first date. The park where he proposed. The restaurant where we were supposed to have our last anniversary dinner. Yesterday I found his therapy notebook again while packing. Flipped to a random page. He'd written, I'm trying so hard not to be him. To be present. To show up. To love completely. Sometimes I worry it's not enough. It was enough. More than enough. I was the one who couldn't see it. Someone asked me recently if I still love him. Truth is, I don't think I knew what love was supposed to be. I thought it was about big moments and feeling special. But Tanner? He showed me it's about the quiet things. The everyday choices. The constant decision to be there, to care, to try. The moving truck comes tomorrow. Mackenzie's helping me pack. Says she's doing it for Tanner, giving him peace of mind that everything's taken care of. She told me he's dating someone new. A kindergarten teacher. Someone gentle and kind. Someone who will never use his past as a weapon. I'd like to say I've learned some grand lesson from all this. That I'm a completely different person now. But the truth is, I'm just starting to understand how much damage you can do when you're so focused on your own hurt that you can't see anyone else's. Sometimes sorry isn't enough. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone you love is let them go find the happiness they deserve.